subs. So what does that make me? What does that make me? Number one. I've been called numero uno, number one. Big cheese. What else? Big dog. That's a good one. That's good. The big dog, the hot dog. What else? What else? My secretary calls me El Jefe Grande. I mean, you know, whatever. You know, I'm the man. That's exactly right. Each time, every minute they say, "You the man." I like being the man. But you know what? That title, president, pretty significant. I've been here for 10 years, and I have to tell you, I enjoy having the title of president, especially with an exciting company like this. But the title of president, and the title of manager, and the title of vice president, the title of director, and all these fancy titles mean nothing without you. That's a fact. And we're not here to blow smoke today, okay? We're here to talk to you and tell you that we asked you to come here out of total respect for each and every one of you. And for our understanding that each and every one of you in the final analysis is more important to this company than I am. Now what am I talking about? How can I say that you're more important than the president of the company? But you are. Because without you and customer service and dedication to quality and all the things that we're going to talk about today, there's no customers. And if there's no customers, there's no cash. And if there's no cash, there's no paycheck. For 30 years I've been talking to franchisees and the managers and corporate offices and all kinds of stuff. And finally I got smart and I said to Tommy, you know, all of our training and all the things that we do, then people go back to their stores, we don't get to see them again. And we rely on our franchisees to tell the story. I said, well, it's not fair. It's not fair for us to make the kind of commitments we're going to make today, to talk about the pledge, and Tommy's going to take you through that, and I'll come back and talk to you later. But it's not fair to commit these people to all the things we're asking them to do without talking directly to them and letting you understand what we expect of you, and more importantly, not what we expect of you, but to help you get there, to help you achieve what we need to achieve. And we're going to talk about later about training and what it means to you and everything else. But the idea of this meeting is that you understand what it is we're trying to say to make us better. Does Miami Subs have good food? Yeah. I can't hear that. Does Miami Subs have good food? Yeah. All right. Does Miami Subs have a great looking building? Yeah. Right? The best. The best. I mean, bright neon, that thing in the nighttime looks like a beacon shining in the night. So we got great food, we got a great looking building, okay? And for the most part, and I'm assuming this room for everybody, we have good service. But you know what's happening to our business? It is getting harder and harder to compete because a lot of people are trying to have good food. And a lot of people are trying to have good buildings. And a lot of people always, I see a sign, even on Taco Bell, with all due respect, there's a sign that says, we don't cook it until you order it. Well, who cares? Okay? But the bottom line is, so those are one way it's getting more difficult to compete. The biggest way for us to compete, the most significant way for us to compete, is with service. Because you know what? It's just not happening out there. In most places it's not happening. We're going to talk a lot about that today, but it's not happening. And that's why, if we can teach you today, and if we can help you understand how important service is, to make you different, not a whole lot different, okay? Just a little bit. Just enough to get up on your tippy toes and get above the crowd. Because you know what? That crowd out there is doing nothing. McDonald's and Burger King and half these guys, they're just out there doing nothing. You can shine by just a little bit.
But I want to talk about why we're really here today. We're here to do the pledge. A lot of things that you see around us is, I take the pledge. I took the pledge. So I want to talk to you what that pledge is. And we're doing this everywhere. So we're telling everybody, so no matter where a guest goes, if they go to New York City, if they go to Miami, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Texas, it doesn't matter. They're going to see the same thing. And that's what we're going to pledge to the guests. So I want to go through a little bit of what the pledge is. The way I want to do it, though, is I want to talk about creating a story. So we can relate to what this pledge is and what it's all about. Because Don said we want to be a little bit different. We want to be a little bit better than the competition. Not a lot. It's not that hard. Just do things a little bit different, a little bit better. And we'll do it in the form of a story. Have you all seen a movie before? Ever go see a movie? Go to the movie theater?
Yeah.
Have you ever went to a movie and the very beginning of the movie you didn't like it?
Yeah.
You feel like you wasted your money?
Oh, yeah.
And then you stayed there and watched the rest of the movie going, man, I want my $15 back, my $20 back, whatever it was. Well, what I want to have you change that around. You ever gone to a movie and in the very beginning something happened that caught your attention. It was kind of exciting. And then all of a sudden you sit there and you watch and you wait for something else to happen. And at the very end of the movie, something outstanding, something crazy, something blows up, something happens that gets you excited. Well, that's kind of what I want to do in our restaurants. I want to create that story. I call it the wow factor, something that wows the people. Something that we do in the very beginning and the people go, wow, and they get interested, and they want to stay, and they want to see more. And then at the very end, before they leave, wow, something else happens, and they get real excited. Kind of like a movie I saw, one of my favorite movies of all time. You all ever seen the movie Rocky? Rocky Balboa? Well, I don't know about you, but when I went to see that movie, when I left, I went walking out of the theater and I'm going, Rocky Balboa, go Adrian! You guys didn't do that?
No.
I didn't either. I really did. No.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. I was out there. I was beating up everybody. I was so excited. Matter of fact, I was so excited, I went again. And I told people about it. And then they went. And the next thing you know, people are going to see this movie, Rocky. Now there's a Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5, 6, and 7. Soon to be in the theater near you, 6 and 7 is coming, I tell you. There should be 6 and 7. But let's change that around. I want people, when they walk into Miami Subs, they go in there, and something happens in the very beginning, they get floored, they get wow. And then at the very end, when they leave Miami Subs, oh, what a great cheesesteak you want! I hate when I do that. But that's the idea, get them all excited. So when they walk out, they start telling people about it. And they come again and again. Next thing you know, visitation 1, visitation number 2. They come back to Miami Subs 3, 4, 5, and it's endless. That's what we're trying to do. And that's the story I want to create at Miami Subs. And if we can do those two things in the very beginning and the very end, I guarantee you the guests will be back. Well, on the tables we handed out some pledge cards, little pledge cards. So we're going to go through this pledge real quick. The first thing on the pledge, the best quality food, fresh, made to order. Can anybody tell me, Tony, I may need your help now. Because if you answer these questions, Tony's going to take care of you and give you some toys, give you some prizes. Toys.
Like Tonka trucks.
Can anybody tell me what quality is? Yes, back there, your hands up.
Best
Stand
of
up. Stand up. The best of the best. Give him a hand. What do we got? The best of the best. Now, do we at Miami Subs serve the best of the best? Yeah. But what is the best of the best? That's what we want to find out. Fresh baked bread. Fresh baked bread. Now, how many times do we bake bread in a day? 3 to 4 times. What about, because when we do make the best bread, our sandwiches look awesome. They look great. And that makes them better than everybody else's. And our guest tells us that. What about fresh ingredients? Fresh ingredients.
Yeah.
Crisp lettuce, crisp onions, something that snaps. Now I'm telling everybody in here, show me your hands if you're a cashier. Raise your hand. All right, cashiers, raise your hand if you're a cook. Raise your hand if you're a manager or an owner. So I guess what I'm trying to say is everybody's in here now. We're talking to everybody. It's not just the manager's responsibility to make sure we serve the best of the best. It's the cook's responsibility too. It's the cashier's responsibility. If you see something that is not the freshest, not the best of the best, you must say something. Because ultimately we want to sell this. No, not that. Ultimately, we want to make sure our equipment is working properly. Equipment. What if I told you equipment is 85 to 90% giving out quality, best of the best?
Yes.
If your equipment doesn't work right, can I serve the best of the best?
No.
It can't. Somebody raise your hand and name one product that we sell that does not use a piece of equipment. Over there. Yes, ma'am. Potato chips. You must have heard this before. Give her, what do we say? Is there anything else that we sell? Raise your hand. Anything else that we sell on our menu that does not? Yes, sir.
Nothing.
Give him a jerk because he's exactly right. Way to go, baby. Everything else on our menu has to use a piece of equipment. Somebody says, well, what about cheesecake? Well, doesn't that come in refrigerated? Frozen in the refrigerator? That's 2 pieces of equipment. Our cheesesteak, our #1 seller. The guest says that's our best of the best, our cheesesteak. What if I told you that takes 13 to 14 pieces of equipment to produce?
Yeah.
Wow. Can you imagine if just one of those pieces of equipment weren't working correctly? It wasn't working right? The grill is not at the right temperature? The freezer's not freezing, the refrigerator's not refrigerating, and so on and so on. Then we give the guest a cheesesteak, and that stuff's not working right. Is that the best of the best?
No.
I can't hear you. No! So it's everybody's responsibility. If you're back there cooking and it's not working right, say something. It's as simple as that. Just say something. Because we want to live up to the pledge. And if our equipment's working right and we serve the freshest ingredients, then we serve food like this.
All right.
So doesn't that look good?
Yeah.
What about this? Ooh, yummy, yummy. Doesn't that look good? There's another one.
Hey, that's how our platters look.
See, we're serving the best. This is what we're here to do. This is what we're promising. What we're pledging every guest. The next on our pledge, served in the quickest time possible. Somebody raise your hand. Yes, sir, right there.
3 to 4 minutes.
I didn't even ask the question. Thanks a lot, Don. 3 to 4 minutes.
I said it.
Our goal is to serve the guest within 3 to 4 minutes.
And what else?
I will bring that up. And let's give her something for that. She goes, Tom, you've been teaching us that we're not cashiers. We're better than that. We're hospitality representatives.
Way to go, baby. There you go, baby. Outstanding.
And she's exactly correct. We're more than just cashiers. Because let's go back to that story. Let's go back to that story we're trying to create. In the story, the very first character, the very first time somebody talks to somebody else is the cashier. So here we go. Here's where the first wow takes place. If we do such a great job here, the guest gets interested, and they get focused, and they start watching, and they say, wow, this is a great thing. But if the cashiers are going, next in line, please, your order, next, is that a great experience?
No.
Or I go into some restaurants, and I swear every restaurant, they hire robots. Because they walk in and here's what the cashier says. Hi, welcome to Miami Subs. May I take your order, please? Then they go to Burger King. Hi, welcome to Burger King. May I take your order, please? Hi, welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order, please? Everybody says the same thing. Is that being personable? Is that telling the guests you really care? Or is that just kind of like, I'm doing my job?
Doing your job.
See, it's more than your job. I'm going to ask you to do just a little bit more. Don't say the same thing to every guest. If you're really hospitality representatives, you talk to the guest. You get to know who they are. You get to know them by their name. And you talk to them. You say, hey, that's a great looking hat you're wearing. Yeah. And then you tell them your name. My name is Tom, and your name is? Because you want it to be an experience they'll never forget. So maybe they just come back to see you. How many of our guests come back just to see you? Let's get more of those guests. Let's get more of those guests. Also, when we're up front, the cashiers, after we make a meaningful experience to them, there's some things that we do. It's called suggestive sell. We do that to make sure the guest is happy and they get everything they want. There are two types of suggestive selling that we use. Somebody raise your hand and tell me what it is. Right up front.
Would you like to size it up for 49 cents more?
Excellent. Size it up for 49 cents more. What do we say?
Give it up.
Okay, you're going to say something right there. What? Over here. What else do we do?
How about some dessert with that water?
Okay, so we round out. Would you like dessert with it? So give it to us.
Give it to us. Outstanding, baby.
So what I want everybody to do, I want everybody to do this. Size up, raise your hand. Size up, round up. Size up, round up. We want to do that to every guest. And then truly, we'll make them happy. We'll give them a good experience. What about our drive-thrus?
Oh, that's me.
What about our drive-thrus? We got the best drive-thrus?
Yes.
But I'll tell you, for a guest, 3 to 4 minutes in a drive-thru is a lifetime. For every minute in the drive-thru, it feels like 5. For 2 minutes, it's 10. 3 minutes, it's 15, and so on and so on and so on. So we got to do some special things in the drive-thru. If a guest comes inside our restaurant, there's the music playing. There's a lot of people they can watch and see, and that occupies time. But there's nothing in the drive-thru to help them occupy time. So what we need to do is we need to talk to them while they're out there. Let's assure them that their food's coming. Let's show a sense of urgency. Let's open that and say, hello, my name is Tom, and you know what? Your order is just about ready. And get out there and do something. Because the funny thing is, when you occupy time, time goes by faster for the guests.
Yep.
Now, don't get confused on what I'm saying. In the middle of lunch rush, you've got a line of people. I'm not saying you can sit down and have a 10-minute conversation. So how are you? You know, my trainer says, you know, I'll get to know you by... I'm not telling you to do that in the middle of lunch. But I'm telling you, you can still give them a good experience in the middle of lunchtime, too. Without saying things like, next in line, please. What do you want? I know you're busy, and they know you're busy, but you can still get to know them and move them. But when we're not busy, instead of just giving them their ticket and telling them to go wait, maybe we sit and talk to them for a while, because while the cook is cooking, you're occupying their time and you're building an experience. For our owners in here, reasonable prices. Yeah, you guys in the very back, reasonable prices. Let's make sure we go back and look at our prices one more time. Let's make sure they're reasonable. Y'all seen this book in the restaurants?
Yes.
Good book, isn't it?
Yes.
We use it?
Yes.
Our recipes and our procedures come through this book. And the pricing is done accordingly to the recipe, so the guest gets a value every time. So we want to make sure every guest perceives a good value when they walk into Miami Subs and buy something. What's the next part of the pledge? In a clean and friendly atmosphere. Here we go. Here's your story again. Once upon a time, I drove to Miami Subs, and the lot was dirty. Is that a good story? Is that a good first positive impression?
No.
You can just keep on going.
Yeah.
You know where I see a lot of trash? I always see a lot of trash right here, in the curbs. Because in the morning, we go out there, I know you all do this. In the morning, you go out there and you sweep up. But what about 3 o'clock in the afternoon? But about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, do we get outside again and double check to make sure? So we're going to give a clean, friendly atmosphere. We got to make sure we start outside. Let's make sure our landscaping looks good. Let's make sure the main sign. Let's make sure whatever we write on the main sign, people can read it. It makes sense. It's not abbreviated. The guests don't know those abbreviations. I know you know the abbreviation for a cheesesteak, but the guests don't. So let's make sure it's easy to read and it's clear. Everybody, wow. Wow. Can you imagine if you had to clean those windows? Wow. But they're clean. Let's make sure our windows are clean. Let's make sure all the neon on the windows are working. Because if it's dirty, that's what the guest looks at.
Is that upstairs and downstairs?
Let's talk about the dining room. Is our dining room clean? This shot was done before we were ready to open. I don't see chairs on top of the table. I don't see cleaning supplies out there. I see a store ready to open. Now I see a store open and I still see it clean. I don't know how many times I walk into a store and then somebody says, you know, we just got busy, that's why it's dirty. We always just got busy for some reason. That's always why it's dirty. And the funny thing is, at lunchtime, that's our busiest time. Is it okay to be dirty at lunchtime?
No.
No. No. Because that's when that's when we have the most of the guests in our restaurant. And we have to be the cleanest. For a t-shirt, somebody tell me from the time a guest, she already got a hand raised. I'm going to answer this, but I'm going to something. From the time a guest leaves a table, when should that table be cleaned? Maximum amount of time.
A minute.
5 minutes.
A minute.
I'm over here though. Go ahead. Say it louder.
1 minute.
1 minute.
That's
Yes.
right.
1 minute. We need to get out there and clean that table, or less. Or less. That means we need to be out there frequently. We need to see what's going on out there. We need to make sure we keep our Coke station clean, the condiment area. That's always a mess.
Yep.
It's always a mess. And at lunchtime we say, well, it's because we're busy. That's not good enough. Have somebody out there. Let's pay extra attention. We're going to pledge to every guest it's going to be clean. Are you guys going to pledge with me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Yes.
If you have a playland, let's make sure that's clean. Let's make sure when the kids come into our restaurant, families have no problem walking into our restaurants. Let's make sure all our neon lights work. Let's make sure it looks good. And this is what you end up with. Happy guests. People that will leave saying, you know what, I may come again. But if I look at this, can anybody guarantee me that those people are going to come back to Miami South? Can you guarantee me?
Yes.
No, you can't.
I bet so.
And you know, that's not good enough to me. That is not good enough. Normally in the restaurant business, here's how it works. We go out there, somebody comes to the register, we take their order, a cook cooks their food, an expediter hands them their food, they go out and eat, and we never see them again. That's not good enough. We go on to the table. We need to go out and ask the guests while they're eating the food, do you like that food? Is it good? Will you come again? Please come again. Not just the managers need to go out there. The cooks. You made that cheesesteak, and you see somebody eating that cheesesteak? If they don't, and that's right. If they're not happy, that's the only time you'll know that they're not happy. Because let me tell you some rules. Let me tell you some statistics. 96% of the guests who are not happy will not tell you. They'll just leave.
Yeah,
so you don't walk out in the dining room, they just leave. 90% of those people you'll never see again in your restaurant. They go someplace else. They say, forget it. I tried you once. I don't need that. I'll go someplace else. 90% of those people are gone forever. That's not good enough for me. So I'm going to urge everybody, whether you're a manager, a cook, a hospitality representative, whatever it is, I expect us to be out there talking to the guest, assuring that that guest is going to come back. Back between you and me. If a guest says, you know, I'm really not happy, I'm not going to come back, don't let him leave. Lock the door, lock him in.
Wait.
I'm just kidding, don't really do that. But do whatever you can to get them to come back. Handling guest complaints. Because sometimes you're going to go out there and they're not going to be happy. Handling guest complaints. There are 2 rules and 2 rules only to remember. 2 rules. Rule number 1. Everybody, you all know them, everybody. I didn't hear you, what? Tony, just throw some shirts out there, you know? All right. always right.
Reread number
Rule
one.
number one.
Yeah.
But how come when I go read the good, the bad, the ugly, some of those ugly complaints, a guest had a problem, they came back, and we argued with them.
Not at all.
We said it didn't happen here. You got a receipt? Who took that? No. We argue with them instead of saying the guest is always right. And even if I don't believe you, the rule says you're still right. Period.
That's right.
Let me go through it. Let me run through it one more time with you real quick. So we'll start from the very beginning. Is that okay if we start from the very beginning? Okay, great. We'll start all over again.
All right.
So we serve the best quality food, fresh, made to order, served in the quickest possible time, at reasonable prices, in a clean, friendly environment.
Atmosphere into their complete.
What happens? What happens? What'd you say again?
They come back.
Say it again louder.
You come back.
Stand up so everybody can hear you. Stand up.
They come back.
Say it.
Our real jobs here, both as president of the company, vice presidents, regional guys, marketing departments, agencies, everything else that we deal with, we have one job. We are all coaches. Because if we expect you all to play and function as a team, and we wear these uniforms as a team, then our jobs is to coach the team. Now, I wear this shirt and this uniform and this logo as often as I can. My wife yells at me, she doesn't think I have any other shirts in my closet, okay? We can go to a wedding, I want to wear this shirt. And you know why I want to wear this shirt? Because I like people come up and say, hey, you work for Miami Subs? I love Miami Subs. Did you ever hear that? Can't think about it.
I hear all the time.
I mean, not only do people say, I love Miami Subs, but they say, I love your cheesesteak. I love your chicken on pita. I love you this. I love you that. I mean, they name the products, right? I see those, I love when the head's nodded, okay? That's exactly, yeah, they do. Exactly. I mean, I don't see people running around saying, gosh, I love that Whopper. You know? I mean, Big Mac's great. Try Big Mac, Lily? No. But have you been to Miami Subs? Yeah. I mean, people talk about it. So you really have something to sell. Let me see the hands of the, what's what Tommy, the hospitality representatives. I can't get all those words out. All right, let me see the hands of the cashier hospitality representatives. All right? Anybody tell you lately how important you are? I hope so. I hope someone tells you every single day when you come to work how important you are. Well, they should. Because the truth of the matter is that you are the one, and I said it earlier, I'll say it again, I'll say it several times. You are the one who has that initial contact with the guest. When that guest comes through the door, his first contact is you. And his whole attitude, his whole experience in that restaurant is created by you. Now what happens when someone comes up to the restaurant, looks at the menu board, and says, hi, how are you? And you say, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. I love that tie, great shirt, all that stuff. And he says, you know, I've never been here before. What's good? I don't know. I sucked you in again. Everyone does that. Everything. Everything is just as bad as, I don't know. Okay? Everything is just as bad. Because if you tell me everything is good, I still don't know what to eat, right? Everybody agree? Now, we all know everything is good at Miami Subs. Yes? Yes. Okay. But if I don't know, what you need to do is say to me, you know, cheesesteaks are great, #1 seller. You don't like cheesesteaks, we got chicken on pita. You don't like chicken on pita, we got salads. You're safe to name 4 or 5 things, and you know every one of those are good. So when we talk about helping you today and letting you walk out of here with tools, that's the kind of tools I'm talking about. Saying everything doesn't do it. Saying I don't know doesn't do it. Worst of all, say, I don't know, I never eat here. Oh, really? Why don't you eat here? I ate here once. That's what we call terrorists, okay? And we have terrorists in our restaurant destroying everything for us. One of the big problems when I said about being a coach is that it's great to come to these meetings, but more importantly, these coaches, these managers of yours, have a responsibility to help you do that job. It's all well and good for us to say, I want eye contact. I want you to stand there and look at that customer straight in the eye and say, hi, how are you? Great to see you. I love you, kid. Nice hat, this, that, whatever, right? It's very difficult to do that if we don't train you. Okay? And you know why? I've been there. Trust me, I know. I went to see the Boca store. Talked about it this morning when Rick was there. Early in the morning, 8:30, I was in the store. Rick went to the back to get something, and I'm standing by the cash register in the front counter waiting for him to come back, and a guest comes through the door. 8:30 in the morning, a guest comes through the door. Now, what do? I mean, I can handle this, right? There's a guest come through the door. I can handle it. I'm the president of the company, right? What am I going to do? Hey, Rick, get out here quick. We got a customer.
No.
No, I walk up there, register. I grab hold of that counter, and I'm ready to go. Am I looking this guy straight in the face?
No.
Absolutely not. You know what I'm doing? I'm going, where the hell's that coffee? I know. He's going to ask for coffee. It's 8:30. I got to find a damn coffee on here somewhere, right? Same thing with you all. Same thing if you're not trained and a guest is standing and I want you to look him straight in the face, you're going cheesesteak. I know cheesesteak, chicken, something. It's here somewhere. I'll find it, okay?
Yeah.
How can you possibly do your job if we don't train you? So I say that to all the managers in the room, and that's why we told managers to come here, and we asked the franchisees to come here, because we owe you. We owe you that. Most people leave their jobs not because of money. You know why people leave their jobs?
Aggravation.
Because what?
Aggravation.
They're not comfortable. Exactly right. Give that girl a prize, and that's an outstanding right there. They are outstanding, okay? They are not, I got it right here. They are not comfortable. And why are they not comfortable? She got it. Give her a cup. They are not comfortable because they can't do their jobs well. What? Another shirt? Cup, shirt, keep the cup, keep the shirt. Okay, we'll come back to you. They are not comfortable because we're asking them to do jobs they can't do well. And you can't be comfortable if you can't do your job well. It's impossible. Do you know the most difficult thing most people have to find to say? People have trouble saying. What's the most difficult thing people have trouble saying?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, it's a good one. We could all say I'm sorry. Well, let's get past that one, okay? What?
I need help.
I need help. Give that guy a shirt right there. Where it is, all right? Right there, that guy right there. I need help. People are afraid to ask for help. People are afraid to say, I don't know. You know, there's no such thing as a stupid question. But if I said to you right now, let's just start asking me questions. Ask me questions, right? You know what? Very few hands will go up. And you want to know why they'll go up? Because as soon as you raise your hand, someone else goes, oh, I can't believe he asked that question. Oh, I'm sorry, asked that question. So we're afraid to ask questions. He's stupid, right? No. We're all stupid for doing that. And that's really what happens to us. We get lost. We get lost in the wrong things. It is not that difficult. If I say it once, I'll say it 100 times. It is not that difficult to be different. It is not that difficult for each one of you. Each one of you in this room is capable of being better than anybody out there. It just takes a little time and a little effort is what it comes down to. Nothing we're talking about here today is difficult. Nothing. We haven't asked you to do anything that's impossible. We have asked you to pay attention, to find those opportunities to be different, to find those opportunities to be just a little bit better. I'll give you another one. I'll give you two more, and I'm going to tell you a story and you understand what I'm talking about. One thing, it's one thing to cook and talk about cooks. Let's come back for a second. I almost forgot the cooks. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Let me see the hands. Do we call these cooks or we call these culinary experts? Let me see the hands of the culinary experts, all right? What do we got here? Look at the cooks, all right? Has anybody told you cooks how important you are? Well, let me tell you how important you are, all right? As I was walking in here a little while ago, guy came by me and I shook out my hand and said, hey, how are you? Welcome, glad you're here. What do you do? Just a cook. I said, excuse me, you what? Just a cook. Just a cook? Don't you understand that my future and the lives of my 3 children and my wife and my grandchildren and everybody else are in your hands? What are you talking about? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Every time that order comes up on the screen, the success of this company is in your hands. It is one thing for that cashier, hospitality representative. Almost got it. What's going on back here? Hugging in here, loving.
Oh my God.
I'm the cook.
Ah, she's the cook. We love our cooks. Good for you. Every time an order comes up on the screen, that cook has the future of this company in his hands. Because the cashier did a great job and she sold him and she did terrific or he did terrific. And she said, get that cheesesteak. Order the cheesesteak. It is great. And then the cook puts that cheesesteak on the grill and walks away, takes a break. Forgets to toast the roll, forgets the cheese, half an order of onions, and that cheesesteak comes out shriveled up, nothing, and the guy bites into it and goes, yuck. Tommy talked about the wow factor. Okay, now if you get our cheesesteak is absolutely a wow factor, but we also know it could be the yuck factor. Okay, so you make up your minds. But the cooks are incredibly important. And you could all decide today if you want to ruin this company. You want to take it down? I'll walk out of here. You all say, you know what? Let's really screw this guy up. All right? We're going to burn all the cheesesteaks. Now on, in the entire country, we're going to burn cheesesteaks all over the world, Miami subs, all in one shot, and that'll be it. We'll be done. Okay? Well, you're not going to do that. You know why? Because each one of you is proud and should be proud every time you put out a cheesesteak or a sandwich or anything you do. Because that, at that moment, is your creation. That is you. That is you and all you stand for and all you feel about yourself and how proud you are of yourself and your job. And I'm not exaggerating, just think about it. You can be good or you can be sloppy in whatever you do. In whatever you do. But if you make that sandwich like you care and like it's supposed to be made, and that guest gets that sandwich like he knows you care, they come back. So the cooks, hospitality representatives, you're the heart and blood of this company. The heart and blood of this company. Now, let me give you 2 other areas to work on and think about in your stores. Complaints. I read to you, I'm making this guy crazy. I'm going back and forth, back and forth. I read to you the complaints, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Complaints, how they're handled, have more to do sometimes than the food. Because as I said before, people come back to our restaurants for our food. But you know what, after a while, if there is a mistake and there is a problem, it's difficult for them to keep coming back. And so eventually we'll chase them away if we don't treat them right. Now God knows we make every effort to make every guest satisfied, and we'll make a sandwich any way they want it. You know, you can get a cheesesteak, and you can have onions on one side and hot peppers on the other, no cheese, double cheese, 3 cheese, I don't care, right? And we certainly make everybody crazy, and we keep hitting that see cash button, see cash, see cash. I watched the other day a customer in one of our stores. It was probably a company-owned store, probably not a franchise store, company-owned store. And the customer came walking across the room with a cheesesteak in his hand. Came up to the register and said to the young lady at the register, excuse me, perfectly nice, I didn't order onions for my cheesesteak. Yes, you did. No, you don't understand. I didn't. I don't order onions. You order them. No, let me explain to you. I have an allergy, okay? I never eat onions. My left ear sort of droops, so my right ear droops. Just like it's a real serious problem. I've never eaten onions since I'm a child. I don't care. You order them. Now, what is going on there?
See, there's the one arguing with the cooks, and the cashier wants to go someplace, who knows?
Cashier wants to go someplace, okay? She wasn't trained right. There's 100 things. You got it. You know why she was doing that? Because she does not want to turn around to that cook and say, hey, you made this wrong. Because that cook's going to go, God damn it, what are you talking about? I didn't make it wrong. I didn't make it wrong. You ordered it wrong. Learn to use that register. Come on, what's the matter with you? Right? Right? Yeah? I mean, I see the hand. You see the hand is pointing. Every time. This is my favorite part of me. Because everyone goes, yeah, he does it. That's him. That's it. No, that's her. She does it every time she does it. Let me tell you, it's not always what the cooks say. Sometimes you turn around and watch you cook, right? Sometimes they don't say nothing, but they're back in. Right? They're back there, their bams are flying in the air, and they're mad as hell. coaching the team, it takes a team to be coached. You got to work together. Now, I will tell you, our true training program says when you're hired into a store that you're supposed to spend a couple of days in the kitchen as a cashier. You're supposed to go in the kitchen so you can see for yourself what these guys go through back there. And when you screw up the orders on the register, things make mistakes and things happen, whatever else it is, these cooks have a rough enough time at lunchtime. And then the cooks, they should be on the registers once in a while and listen to these guests while they change their orders and what they do and the like. So you can go back and do that in your stores. Go back and let your cooks come out front and let your cashiers go in the back and learn what it takes to do each other's job. And then you have a big difference. That's right. Let's do it. All right, come on. Good. You all understand exactly what I'm talking about. There is really nothing. As I said before, I've been doing this for 30 years. 30 years. A young lady this morning's meeting said to me, Mr. Perone, don't you get tired doing this after 30 years? And I said, young lady, absolutely not. When I see the enthusiasm and the excitement and the determination of people like yourselves, I can't get tired. We have an obligation to help you do your jobs better and make it right. And so we appreciate you for that. Another area of problems, coupons. Okay? We don't do a lot of coupons. We used to be doing coupons at all. In recent years, probably every once a quarter or sometime we run coupons because that we know that drives guests into our restaurant and it really works. I will tell you that for the most part, people don't like using coupons. You think they do, but they don't. Because first of all, they think you're going to think they're a cheapskate. Look at this guy trying to save a buck on the sandwich. Okay. What's the matter? You can't afford a sandwich, right? The same time the guest is standing there with a coupon in their hand. They're online and they're waiting. They're not comfortable. Trust me, they're not comfortable. Because they're not sure the coupon's going to work. Okay? They're sitting there. Sometimes we make it so hard. Guy's standing there with a coupon. He's online. He's waiting his turn. He's reading his coupon. Let's see. Buy one cheesesteak, get a second cheesesteak, or half a cheesesteak, depending on the size of the day. If it's Tuesday or Wednesday, if you get 2 fries, order 1 fry large, 1 fry small, get a small Coke and a large Coke, divide those in half and bring a note from your mother. What? So the fact is, we make it so hard for them sometimes. On the other side, you got the cashier. Cashier going, oh, hell. Coupon. And what was I supposed to do with that coupon? Do I staple it on the back? Do I staple it on the front? Do I stick it in my ear? What the hell am I going to do with that coupon, right? So it's never easy. So I want you to be different. I want you to be different. I want you, when someone stands there with a coupon, and let me tell you something. I don't care if it's a coupon for a Maytag dryer. You say, I'm sorry, sir, we're fresh out of Maytag dryers. We do have washers and refrigerators. We can help you out. No. If they come in with Subway coupons. How many Subway coupons, right? Let me see the hands. Got Subway coupons? And when they walk in with a Subway coupon, what do?
We accept them.
We accept them. Not the store I was in the other day. At Subway, it's across the street, right there. You can go right there. And the guy walked out. Went across the street to Subway. I mean, he came in our door. We didn't have to spend the money to print that coupon. He came in. We have people chasing people out the door. I can't believe it. Another problem with coupons. Well, let me go back to that for a second. If it's a coupon that's not ours, okay, what you do, and it should be, and you go back and talk to your managers about this, what you need to do is you never send anybody away.
Yeah.
If it's a coupon that's not ours, you say, you know, I am terribly sorry, this is Miami Subs, not Subway. Appreciate you coming in. Let me give you a free drink. That's all. A free drink. I mean, that's not going to happen every day. How often? Not so many hands got raised when I said Subway coupons come in. For us to lose one person for a Subway coupon makes no sense at all. No sense at all. Let me finish. I'll come back. All right? So you got to do that. You really need to pay attention. Your job is to satisfy that guest and have them have a good experience. Now, we give you, and I said to you early this morning, early this afternoon, I said to you, we give you the power. We give you the power to create that experience for the guest. That's sometimes dangerous. Because most of the time, we all grew up, me included, having to say yes. We said yes to our mothers and fathers. We said yes to our teachers. We said yes to our preachers. We said yes to our managers. We're always having to say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, okay? We don't get to say no enough times. So now we give you the power. You're back there behind that register. Happened in Dallas, Texas. Company-owned store. Put a knife in my heart. I couldn't believe it. I'm standing, I was just by the drive-thru. Watched this kid do a great job taking the order. Car comes up, hands the kid a coupon. It was buy one cheesesteak. The guy had already ordered his food. Buy one cheesesteak, get the second one free. Kid said, very nice. Thank you. Takes the coupon. Looks at the coupon. Sort of all of a sudden stands up straight. Big smile on his face. You can't use this. My mouth was like, you can't use this because it expired yesterday. We gave this power to this kid to say no. And before we could do anything else about it, the guy just drove away. Left the food, wasted everything else. So, the point is, be careful. How you use the power of your position is very important in what you do. I'm going to tell you one final story. It'll wrap it up, and if you remember nothing else from today, if you remember the point of this story, it will bring everything into focus for you every day you go to work. Right down the street here, on Oakland Park Boulevard, there's a shopping center, strip center, and there are two bakeries in that center. One bakery at the left side of the center, west side, one bakery at the east side. You know what that is? You're shaking your head. You know what those bakeries are? Okay, good. That's good. She knows those bakeries. I bet you don't know the story about the bakeries that you're going to hear. The bakery over here is one of the most beautiful bakeries I've ever seen. They have beautiful glass cases, they have lights, they have chandeliers. It's a beautiful place. And the pies are fabulous and everything is great. And a guy and his wife runs this bakery. On the other side of the shopping center is a small storefront place. He has no fancy lights and no fancy shelves. Matter of fact, he has wood shelves all the way across this bakery, right across the back. And he doesn't make a whole bunch of cakes and a whole bunch of breads and a whole bunch of cupcakes and cookies and all kinds of stuff. He makes cherry pies. That's all this guy makes. You can go down there and see it. It's all this guy makes, cherry pies. This guy is in trouble financially. He doesn't do enough business. You don't do enough business, you can't pay the rent. Can't pay the rent, can't pay the electricity. It's not working. And finally, he's about to go out of business and close his doors. But before he's done, his wife says, now do me a favor. Before you close shop, before we lose all our money, let's learn something. Let's go down to the other side. Talk to that guy. We haven't talked to that guy in 3 years. We've been competitors for 3 years. But every single morning, the people are lined up out into the parking lot, practically onto Oakland Park Boulevard, lined up out the door. Let's find out what's going on. So he goes down and says to the guy, hey, look, I'm closing my shop, I'm leaving. Before I go, do me a favor. Just tell me, how do you do it? What do you do with it? I got all those cakes, pies, breads, cookies, everything. You got cherry pies. I don't understand. Guys, I'll tell you what, you promise me you're going to leave? He says, yeah, I got to leave. I can't pay the rent. You come here tomorrow morning. You be here at 7:30 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I don't have to tell you anything. You're just going to stand right there, and you watch. Okay, this is great. Thank you. Next morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, the guy is there. And sure enough, as every morning, 7 days a week, they are lined up out in the street, waiting. And the way it's worked out in this store, he's only got one register and takes care of one guest at a time. So the woman comes through the door, and the other guy is just standing right there watching where Tony is. Mrs. Jones, good morning. How are you, Mrs. Jones? Good to see you. How's your mother? Where is she? You always bring your mother. Is she okay? Oh, she's fine, thank you, but she didn't feel good this morning, so she didn't come. Mrs. Jones, you're not going to believe this, but last night at 2:30 in the morning when I was pulling these pies out of it, I was hoping you were going to come today. I really was hoping, because I baked this pie, and when I saw this pie come out of the oven, he reaches up on the shelf and takes a pie. When I saw this pie, and I looked at it, and it looked so round and beautiful, I said, you know what, I hope Mrs. Jones comes today, because this pie is one of the best I've made all day, and I'm going to give it to her. Oh, thank you. That is great. That is so nice. I can't wait to tell my mom you asked about her. And she left. And Mrs. Smith came through the door next. Mrs. Smith, am I glad to see you. Last night, I don't know what's going on here, but last night, every time I opened a can of cherries, on the top of every can, there were 4 big, they were this big. And I started opening every can, and I said to myself, look at these, and I took out the 4 best cherries from every can, and I put them in this pie, right here. And he reached over, And he took a pie and said, "This has the biggest cherries I have ever seen. I want you to have this." And he wrapped it up and she left. And all day long, every customer and guest and hospitality representative and cook and everybody else who came through that door got a pie. Pie made specially for them, or so they believed. What did this guy do to everybody who came through his doors? What? Lied? I've certainly knocked myself out here for 45 minutes, but outstanding. Woo! Hold it. What did the guy do?
Made them feel special.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What did he do?
Made them feel special.
Who's talking? You talking? All right, stand up. Stand up. Stand up on your chair. Get up on your chair. On your chair. On your chair. Oh, she's tall enough. All right. Tell everybody again what you just said.
Made them feel special.
Made them feel special. Yes. Come on, let's hear it from her. Give her a shirt. That's exactly right. Because we all know that every pie had the same cherries. Every pie had the same sugar. Every pie had the same dough. Every pie had everything exactly the same. But he made every guest feel special. And that's all we ask you to do. And like I said, if you remember everything, the rest of the pledge falls into place. All you have to think about from now on is cherry pies. Okay? If you remember cherry pies, you'll remember everything. And I appreciate your coming, and I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you now for the job you're going to do.